My name's Lee Barzik, marketing is my life, and today we talk about the state of the hashtag. So the reason for me making this video is I've been getting a lot of questions surrounding hashtags specifically. They seem to be like this mythical, something that is very evasive or hard to understand for all kinds of different business people on the social platforms that we all use. So I've compiled a bunch of different stuff that I think is going to be useful to you as a small business entrepreneur. And these articles are coming from either Hootsuite, 1:37 p.m., which is a publishing company, men's media company, and then also Later, which is a social media scheduling app. They do all kinds of different stuff. So the first point that I want to make, and the very first place that we'll start in August 2019 talking about these hashtags, is stories. Now, a lot of people don't realize that you can use hashtags in your actual story. So with using hashtags in stories, up to 11 different ones, and now I don't recommend using 11, actually that can be very spammy. I would say the most that you would ever maybe want to use, somewhere around 5 or 6, but 1 or 2 will do the job. And keep in mind, when you're using these hashtags, the goal is to be featured on one individual hashtag story. So when someone searches for a hashtag, or maybe they're following this hashtag, your story that you use this hashtag in, and we'll say marketing expert for me, that's one that I like to use, or social media expert, the goal is to show up in that story. With hashtags in your stories, you want them to be very, very relevant. Avoiding being spammy with them. Again, you don't want to use too many. Don't go overboard with it. Don't have them, all over the side of it, or just blasting people with things that they don't care about, or making it look like a ad even, or just trying to get, yourself some more exposure. So the best hashtags to use are ones that are super relevant. So for me, like I said, social media expert, social media marketing, social media coach, social media tips. Those are all ones that I use on a very, very consistent basis because they describe exactly what I'm going for, exactly what I do. So keeping them relevant is super important. Another tip for using these hashtags is find ones that have posts or that have been used before on a post or in a story at least 5,000 times and up to 500,000 times. They say once you get into the millions, these articles say that I'm basing all of this off of, and I'll have them linked. They say that once you get up into the millions, it doesn't perform as well, your hashtags won't show, and that makes sense because obviously there's so many posts that for yours to perform well, it has to do amazing, and maybe that's not realistic for all of us just starting out. So that brings me to my second point of the hashtags. Instagram introduced the ability to follow hashtags more towards the beginning of the year. So this video is not specifically for that, for following hashtags, because this feature has been out. But at this point, there's been a lot of articles and a lot of, data on how to use following hashtags to your benefit. So one cool thing of following a hashtag is that you can see other people within your industry. For me, again, social media, I follow the hashtag social media. And sometimes I'll see accounts that are not really having content that's geared towards social media. And at that point, you can choose to, let's say, report the post or don't show for this hashtag. And that just reinforces my point of not being spammy and using hashtags that are very relevant to what you're doing. So something cool about following hashtags is that you can see how other people are gearing their content towards the audience that you're going for. So for me, social media, I find a lot of different accounts have either tips or tricks or recommendations on social media, and they'll have those in just text form with some kind of graphic behind that. And I've tried to do that a little bit as well, and it's been working for me. So it's a good place to get some ideas, figure out different ways to build out some content for yourself using the hashtags that you've already deemed relevant. The last point that I have about following hashtags is the suggested posts button under that, and there will be a video up of that right now. But when you follow a hashtag, you can search that hashtag, and there is a line that shows suggested hashtags or similar hashtags that can be used that are relevant to that hashtag in particular, but also ones that other people have used that have worked well for them. So it'll have that line across the top of the search bar. So the third bullet point, the third list, I guess, thing here, if you take notes on these videos or if your brain works like mine does, is what hashtags to use. So you need to be switching up your hashtags is the first thing that I'll say. You can't just copy and paste the same hashtags for every post, because not every post is the same thing, and not every post is going to be geared towards the exact same person in your audience. It's super important to have niche hashtags and hashtags that are very, very specific. So even down to where you are at. So for me, I would say Erie PA social media, Erie PA business, Erie PA podcast would be a different one that I would use when I get to that point when I've had a few podcasts. People aren't searching for these broad hashtags that we all use. So instead of me just posting hashtag social media, I could say hashtag Erie social media, hashtag Chautauqua County social media, Chautauqua social, Chautauqua business. Really make it specific to your audience, and that will help you grow. Sometimes we think that just because a lot of people are using a hashtag, it's a good one, and it's actually the opposite, right? It goes back to what I was talking about before, that if there's been millions of posts that use this hashtag, it's just going to be that much harder for you to stand out between all of them. The fourth topic today in August 2019 for hashtags is using third-party apps to assist you. So a few of the different apps that I use and ones that I've found work well for me are Smart Hash, and there will be a video of that, as well as later, actually, where I pulled one of these articles where I'm using some of their information for this video. They both have apps that assist you in building out a set of hashtags, and you can add in multiple sets up to as many as you want. I think once you get to a certain number, there's a paid feature that you have to get to or use, but you can use, I have, I think 3 or 4 different ones that I use pretty consistently right now. And what's cool about it is you can pick individual hashtags from each set to mix and match. So you can copy as you're doing that, and it'll select individual hashtags, and then you can post it or paste it rather into the captions. Smart Hash specifically has this feature, which is the top 100 hashtags of the day. So it's really cool to look through that, see what is buzzing, see what's trending throughout all of social media. And you can see, actually, if you look through the entire list, maybe there is some that are relevant to you. So feel free to use that hashtag on that day. You know what I mean? You'll be able to stand out a little bit more just by having this feature that some people don't know about or haven't downloaded. Another feature that Smart Hash specifically has, and I'm not sure if Later's platform has this or not, is the performing well hashtag. And I don't necessarily know if this works, so you'll have to try it out on your own. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but it is supposed to tell you which hashtags people are finding you through and what ones are working to get people to your profile. Topic number 5, with just this whole video on hashtags specifically, is how many do I use? What's the correct number? Is there a correct number? The answer is no. There is no correct number of hashtags to use. And I'm going to drive this point home as hard as I can, but the right number to use is as many as you can use, up to 30, which is the limit, that are relevant, that are super, explain what you are doing specifically and which people can find you, your content, and what your content is based around. If you can find 30 that are very, very specific and describe exactly what it is that you're doing, that's great. Use them all. If not, feel free to use 15. It doesn't matter the specific amount, because it could be the one person that found one specific hashtag when you only posted, let's say 10, 15 hashtags instead of 30, that came to your post, and they were the ones that turned out to be your biggest client ever, or the most business producing, the most engaged fan, the person that supports your community the most. You don't know what hashtag is going to produce those results. It's just your job to use the ones that are relevant to get those people to find your profile. Hashtag tip number 6 is post insights. I'll have a video up on the screen as I'm talking over it right now, but for this post insights, this topic, you can go to one specific post within your feed when you're looking at your own page. Click on the bottom left-hand corner where it says Post Insights, and go to the specific insights for that post. Obviously, that's Post Insights. But what you can see in the back end of it all is how this post is performing individually, how people are finding this specific post. Did they find it from hashtags? Was it organic? Was it from the homepage? Sometimes we get caught up in the overall insights and forget to look at specifics. So it's easier for us to understand how one post performed by looking at only that one post instead of the overall, which is the main thing that most people go to. I think that one's pretty self-explanatory, but I think it's a good one nonetheless. Number 7, and the final topic that I want to cover today on hashtags in August 2019, is myths debunked. So myth number 1. There is no such thing as a shadow ban. You cannot get shadow banned. That is not something that exists. What can happen is that you use hashtags that do not relate to your post. They have nothing to do with the content that you are providing. So people will use the feature that I explained earlier and say, don't show for this post, or don't show for this hashtag. So when you're putting out content that is not relating to the hashtags that you're using, other users are going to start to say, we don't want to see this anymore. We don't care about this for the hashtag that we're looking at right now. So it's obvious that your post wouldn't show as much, and after, let's say, 5 times of people reporting you for this specific hashtag that you've just continue to hammer home because you think it's more attention worthy or attention grabbing, but it doesn't relate to your content, then your content won't do as well. That's just natural. Second myth is posting hashtags in the comments versus in the caption. And either way, it does not matter. 100%. There's no proof so far, and as far as I've read in these articles that I pulled all this information from, in my experience, there's no difference between posting in the comments versus in the caption. There's no boost to more people finding your comments or posts. There is no boost to, just anything in general, any performance-based thing in the caption or in the comments. Posting your hashtags does not matter. Third one that is kind of something that I already touched on is the correct number of hashtags. There is no correct number. It's not 15 is going to show up the best or 5 is going to show up the best. It's as many as you can find that are specific to your content. A last myth that I wanted to talk about is posting a hashtag in somebody else's post. So if you're in the comments and you want, or you think you want your comment to show up higher or rank better or have people find you, posting a hashtag does not work. You cannot post a hashtag in somebody else's profile in their comments and have that lead back to you. It does not work like that. I'm sorry to say, there was a time where I used to try that as well, but it is not a thing. So that concludes this video today. I hope that you guys got some value from this. This is something that I really want to do maybe on a every other month basis, because I think that a lot can change in 2 months, maybe not so much in just a month. And also, not that many articles are going to be written each month on hashtags unless something big is happening, and you better believe I'm going to cover that as well. But I appreciate you guys coming here, checking out this video today. I actually all day today had a meeting in the morning, and then I had a photo shoot actually at 1 o'clock, which was kind of like a business shoot, and it was with a connection that I made in just the past few weeks here. So I went, met with her, and helped her out with some social stuff, gave her some advice, some strategy, absolutely free, you know, just being a good person. And she returned that favor by offering to do a shoot for me. So I think that when you're willing to go out there and help people and share your expertise or whatever you're good at, good things will come around as well. You know, they say what goes around comes around. I definitely believe that. And that was just an example of it today. So staying busy and making these videos, and again, I'm glad that all of you are here. Thank you for watching, and as I like to end these videos, as I always say, stay classy, marketers.